Kung Fu.
We're going to build upon that with karate.
Ancient way.
Miyagi way.
There's two of them.
Focus!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 martial arts sequel, Karate Kid Legends. The film is directed by Jonathan Entwistle and it stars Ben Wang, Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, Joshua Jackson and Sadie Stanley. Now the film focuses on a young man called Li Fong who essentially keeps getting into trouble where he lives. So he's got to basically relocate to New York City with his mother to stop him getting into fights, getting into trouble, but also try and move on with his life because a year previously he lost his brother who was killed in a street fight. So he gets to America. You know, he used to be really into martial arts. His uncle is played by Jackie Chan, Mr. Han, who obviously was in the 2010 Karate Kid reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. But he's not allowed to fight anymore. But he basically starts getting bullied by this lad who has won the New York Martial Arts Underground competition for the last few years. Jackie Chan's Mr. Han comes over to New York in order to try and help him because he has befriended a local pizza shop owner played by Joshua Jackson and his daughter who he's falling in love with. They need help financially, so he decides to enter this martial arts competition. He needs to get trained by Mr. Han, but Mr. Han also realizes that he needs to learn Miyagi karate, which is where Daniel LaRusso comes in. Right, what are my thoughts on Karate Kid Legends? Well, this one has kind of been, I think, warmly received, I think, by everybody. I mean, ever since Cobra Kai made its appearance a number of years ago, very, very successfully. I think it's fair to say that show potentially outstayed its welcome to the point where I really loved that show, but I haven't even brought myself yet to finish the second half of the final season. I watched and reviewed the first half. I just can't bring myself to watch the second. I think that's what I mean by it outstayed its welcome a little bit. It was getting to that point. So while I've been quite looking forward to this, I think if this had come out maybe while they really kept you wanting more with Cobra Kai, I think there probably would have been a little bit more excitement. But saying that, what we get here is a really solid Karate Kid sequel, addition to the franchise, whatever you want to call it. It follows the blueprint very, very closely. I mean, it's almost in many ways a remake of the first one. You know, Daniel LaRusso has to move to California from, is it Detroit? I can't remember. This guy has to move to New York from, is it Shanghai, something like that. You know, he's a fish out of water. He's got no friends. He starts getting bullied. He falls in love with a local girl, and then he trains for a tournament. Sound familiar? It is. It's the Karate Kid for a new generation, I suppose. What gives it legitimacy, I think, is that it does feel fresh and modern. It doesn't feel old. It's a blueprint that works, as we've seen in many of the Karate Kid films, many sports films in actual fact, and even boxing films like Rocky. But what really lends it legitimacy, in my opinion, is the appearance of Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. It really kind of feels like it's got a level of royalty to it almost. I mean, they could have made this film without either of them and called it a Karate Kid film and put a different sensei in there and all this kind of stuff, and it would have felt like the Karate Kid because it followed the blueprint, much like the 2010 version of the Karate Kid that Jackie Chan turned up in, playing the same character. But because we've got Jackie Chan returning in a fairly sizable role, certainly compared to Ralph Macchio, who you could describe his part in the film as an extended cameo, I suppose, which you might see as disappointing. But to be honest, it was getting to the point in the film where I was enjoying what I was watching, and we were a good possibly hour into the film, maybe a little bit less, and I had this realization that we've barely seen Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio at this point. But I didn't mind because I was invested in these characters, and I think that's something that a film does very, very well. I think Ben Wang as Li Fong makes a compelling lead. He's very likable. You enjoy his journey, if you like. He feels like an underdog here, but at the same time, you also feel like he has unlocked potential because you see him in the film. Whereas Daniel LaRusso in the original Karate Kid had very, very little in the way of karate skills. He'd done a few karate lessons. This lad, is very skilled in kung fu, but not skilled enough. He's not refined his skills. He's not fine-tuned them. He's like a rough diamond almost. And you see that in this film. There's a scene where he has like a fight outside the pizzeria because these gangsters turn up trying to get money off the pizza runner, played by Joshua Jackson. And there's like a brawl in the back at the back of the pizzeria. And he does really well, this Li Fong. You can see, he's very, very skilled at fighting, and he handles himself very, very well. But there's a lot of refining to do, a lot of training still to be had. And the idea of bringing Daniel LaRusso into this is Mr. Han wants him to blend the two styles, kung fu and karate, to kind of have this hybrid of a fighter ready for the tournament. So he's got like the kung fu skills, and he's got the Miyagi karate skills as well. And it makes sense because right at the beginning of the film, they explain how these two styles, Mr. Miyagi's and Mr. Han's style, are kind of two branches of the same tree, and they kind of, it's a natural thing, and they've kind of, always been connected, and it makes complete sense, sort of thing. So while it doesn't go down the full-on nostalgia route here, it certainly ticks that box, and it doesn't, if you like, some films when they're trying to hit the nostalgia button, really try and ram it down your throat. This doesn't. What we get here is a pretty fast-paced 90-minute fun romp that has got fun characters, a familiar feel and pattern to the film, some fun moments, and some spectacular martial arts moments as well. So I think this, what else can you say? If you're going into a Karate Kid film, you're going to come out not disappointed because you're getting exactly what this says on the tin. This is a Karate Kid film, and it's got the legends in there such as Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, and it delivers. And they don't take centre stage. This young man, Ben Wang, takes centre stage, and he's a very, very talented martial artist from what he shows in this film. So this is definitely a fun time, guys. If you're a fan of the Karate Kid films and you're a fan of Cobra Kai and you haven't checked this one out yet, you definitely, I don't think, will be disappointed. I think this is definitely a fun movie, and you should go and check it out. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.